Welcome back to Callahan's Corner, where you ask the questions, we answer them live right here on Facebook. So one of the many Facebook groups we are involved in with Callahan's Corners, there was a question asked this morning, what works better, direct mail or every door direct mailing, EDDM? Well, really, the question is, right off the bat is this individual, or if you're looking at exploring different marketing options for every door direct mailing, Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever that is, are you actually tracking the data? So we did in our run, usually in the spring, we run $75,000 to maybe $85,000 at the peak of the advertising season in a month in upstate New York for the lawn care company I own. And that definitely worked. But the thing that I will tell you is working with hundreds of businesses all over the US and Canada, even Australia and the UK now. Each market is the same, but it's going to be a little bit different based on how they digest and what target market actually demographic you're going after. So really, I think it would be foolish to answer the question directly, what worked better in my market, and actually show you how to track your own data for non-emotional, systematic way. And I can show you how to actually create a high-level marketing plan to go along with this once we've got some good data. So what I'm going to do here is open up the screen and open up Service Autopilot. So this is one of the CRMs that we use, customer relationship management software is here. So if you are using Service Autopilot, and the gentleman that actually asked this question I know is using Service Autopilot, I'm going to open it up and show you how to actually use Service Autopilot to track this stuff literally automatically once you set it up. And it takes about 5 minutes to set up. I'm going to show you actually how to do it. So first thing we want to do is go to our gear icon. And we're going to go into client source right here. And client source is going to be lead source tracking. So whether you're doing every door direct mailing, or any other type of advertising, literally word of mouth, they saw your truck, whatever that is, that will be able what we're looking at here. So as you can see in my old account here, we had our 2020 every door direct mailing with the long copy and one with a picture of a family. So you may be testing different copies of this marketing copy as well, because every door direct mailing may work great on one piece, but not as good on another. So this is how we go in and non-emotionally set this up. So if we go in and let's add a new source right from the beginning, I'm going to put this as our every door direct mailing test 2022. And we can go in and put some details in here. Now, the first thing we need to do is set these up. The second thing now is when we do that every door direct mailing, we need to actually go in and add a campaign. So if we started, let's say in March, and it ran all the way through the end of April, we could put that date in there. So anytime a lead comes into the system in that date for that particular client or lead source, it's accredited to that. Now, let's say we did a 10,000 distribution and it ran us, say, $8,000. So we put the 10,000 in here and our $8,000. Oh, $10,000 distribution and our $8,000 to actually have the expense. Now, if you're actually marketing to your current database, we could actually hit upsell and it would track the upsell conversion ratio. So what this is going to give you is how many leads came from each marketing source, how many converted into a client, the closing percentage for your actual estimator, and the client acquisition cost. So what it costs you to acquire for each and every client that you get. And then in addition, we could have a client lifetime value. If you are going to this extent, I'm also going to recommend that you go in and track your cancellation and won and loss reasons. So if we go into the gear icon and go into cancellation reasons and estimate reasons. So we have estimate reasons, and we're going to go in and put the reason why we won and lost the estimate. And then we're going to go back in and track our cancellation reasons. So what we've done is tracked our acquisition cost and percentage of closing and client lifetime value per lead source. And then we can also track our cancellation. So dissatisfied, whatever those may be, we just go in and add a cancellation reason, and it's based on a lead or client. So once we have that information, all the data now flows automatically. So if you're using Service Autopilot, the other thing that you may want to look at here is your website lead capture form. Now, there's two different versions of it. There's a V2, there's a V3. For simplicity, whatever I'm in here, I think we're in probably V2. I'll show you, but it's going to be the same exact thing, whether the V2 or V3 version. But what you want to do is go in, and when you create a form, we want to be able to have it automatically submit, do some duplicate checking. But the thing that we're looking at for this video is how do we track that lead acquisition off the website? So what we want to do is auto proof create on submit, and we're going to update and probably create and update a lead and source on submit. So we'd actually go in and have one in here for our website. And that way we would have the ability to track the lead sourcing coming off your website. Or if you have separate forms embedded into a Facebook ad or a landing page, you probably want separate lead source tracking to track those campaigns with the pricing behind it. So that's how we would be able to tackle that. So the final part is here, when we go in to the My Day screen, your office is working this. We want to go into the green plus icon, add a lead. And this is the important part here. So we're going to put in our first name, last name, the service address. As we're talking to them, we're going to put in the postal code, and we're going to update the city. We're going to get the email in here. And we want to put the phone number in the cell phone field. Once we get their basic information, the main part around this question is we want to go into details, select the account type, and most importantly, the sales type. How did you hear about us? And that's where we can go in and say they selected the Everydoor direct mailing with the picture. Now, if they were referred by someone in your list here and you actually went in and had a customer referral in here, you could go in, and if this wasn't a test account, a list of all our leads and clients would show, and you would select the appropriate person. So not only do you know the effectiveness of your marketing copy, but your customer referral, conversion ratio, and client lead acquisition, if there's any gift cards or things you send out for referrals. So comments, questions, drop below. Callahan's Corner. You ask the questions, we answer them live right here on Facebook. What marketing source is better? Direct mail or Everydoor direct mailing? That's going to depend on your market. But a pro tip here is if you are doing Everydoor direct mailing, we want to do it not just once. We want to do 3 to 5 times. That's going to give us the best results. And then in addition to that, one thing that we did in my lawn care company is we drove around literally with a notepad, something like this, and we wrote down the addresses of all the homes that looked like they were commercially mowed. And we went in through the winter months when we were slow and went in through satellite imagery and measured all those and did direct mailing to all those properties with property specific pricing. And in the email or on the envelope, the address would be lawn mowing customer. So we knew they were getting their lawn mowed most likely, and we sent them a direct contract to sign up with us with property specific pricing. So that was a huge way that we dominated our market and grew market share, specifically in the neighborhoods that we were already in and the neighborhoods in between the neighborhoods that we weren't servicing to build route density. So once again, you want to track the lead source on that as well, so you know the conversion ratio and the cost per acquired client. So it actually costs a little bit more to do the direct mailing with property specific pricing, but on average, our client acquisition cost, because it was so effective, was actually lowered. So the upfront cost was a lot more, but when you average it over all the clients we gained, that was a great way of doing that. So that's kind of a pro tip. Callahan's Corner. You ask the questions, we answer them live right here on Facebook. We'll see you again later this week.